Okay, so we will see Lord Vishnu's appearance. So the Lord said that he will have the darshan of the four Kumaras. And previously, he was very pleased with King Prithu because of his excellent behavior, his qualities. So Indra also was standing with Vishnu. He bowed down to Prithu Maharaj to apologize, and Prithu Maharaj forgave him and gave up all his envy. So while he was worshipping the Lord, his devotional service, his ecstasy increased. So we are on verse 20. The Lord was just about to leave, but because he was so greatly inclined towards the behavior of King Prithu, he did not depart. So the Lord does not want to leave his devotees also. So he did not go, just as the devotees want the Lord. Like I think Kunti Maharani was requesting Lord Krishna to stay, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was also requesting Krishna to stay. Right? And then Krishna stayed for some time. So seeing the behavior of Maharaj Prthu, and if Krishna leaves, it is to why does Krishna leave? If supposing some devotee wants Krishna to be with him and Krishna leaves, then what is the reason why Krishna leaves?
He wants to give them love in separation, Vipralamba Bhav.
Yeah, he wants to increase the intensity of their hankering for him. That's what Krishna told the gopis, and Narad Muni also he told that, yeah, I just disappeared to increase your. So we will hanker more. He gives us little taste and then he disappears. Then we will want to. We are looking for that again for Krishna. So the Lord was just about to leave, but because he was so greatly inclined towards the behavior of King Prithu, he did not depart. Seeing the behavior of Maharaj Prithu with his lotus
Hare
eyes, he
Krishna.
was detained
Ram 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 Hare Hare
because he is
Krishna
always
Krishna.
the well-wisher of his devotees. So he stayed behind. Here the words Surit Satam are very significant. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always very inclined towards his devotee and is always thinking of the devotee's well-being. Like Krishna told Rukmini, what did he say?
That I'm also always thinking of Rukmini. I cannot sleep at night, thinking of her good qualities.
Hmm. So as we think of the Lord thinks of us. It's a reciprocal relationship. So here the words Surit Satam are very significant. The Supreme Personality of God is always very inclined towards his devotee and is always thinking of the devotee's well-being. So he arranges circumstances in devotee's life so that the devotee can come closer to him. And this is not partiality. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is equal to everyone, samoham sarva bhuteshu, but to one who is particularly engages in his service is very much inclined. In another place, the Lord says that devotee always exists in his heart and he always exists, always in the heart of the devotee. Like if somebody serves us, right, then we naturally become favorable. And we also want to serve, unless somebody is not grateful. But this is how somebody served. This quality is coming from Krishna. Krishna has this quality in us. So the Jiva also has this quality. That anybody who serves him, then there is special affection for them. So like the children serve the parents serve the children, like that. So in another place, the Lord says that the devotee always exists in his heart, and he also exists always in the heart of the devotee. In the ninth canto, it is described.
साधवो हृदयं मह्यं साधूनां हृदयं त्वहं मद अन्यत्तेन जानामि नाहं तेभ्यो मनगपि.
Sadhavo hridayam mahyam. So the special inclination of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pure devotee is not unnatural, nor is it partiality. For example, sometimes a father has several children, but he has special affection for one child who is very much inclined towards him. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Yeah, you may have so many children, but the child who is looking after your needs and who cares for you, then the father also has a special affection for the child. The father loves all the children, but other children who are not caring or ignoring, they don't even ask, then the father doesn't have much, affection for them in this world. Of course, Krishna does have unconditional, but one who serves him in love, then so that's what Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupiyanti te. Those who constantly engage in the devotional service of the Lord in love and affection are directly in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So priti purvakam, priti means with affection. When we serve, then the Lord is directly in contact, and he is sitting as the super soul in everyone's heart. The Lord is not far away from the devotee, he is always in everyone's heart, but only the devotee can realize the Lord's presence, and thus is directly connected, and he takes instructions from the Lord at every moment. Therefore, there is no chance of a devotee being in error, nor is there any partiality on the part of the Lord for his pure devotees. So pure devotees, or as we engage in service of the Lord, then we are given guidance and knowledge from within by Krishna. And then he will send also devotees in our life, and in this way we are helped from within and without. Okay. And who was that somebody got knowledge because they were serving the Lord? Any examples?
Serving the Lord, Narad Muni got the knowledge he was serving the devotees.
Yeah, all are. And also, like the story of Madan Mohan Malviya, right? He was serving
Right.
and got his answers. So, like that, if we serve the Lord, then Krishna will give us buddhi from within. So, we should approach the Lord in a humble mood, saying, Lord, I don't know anything, but I want to engage in your service, and you give me all the guidance. Please guide me, my Lord, please guide me. You are my well wisher, and so please guide me. So, okay.
And all those who were chanting the holy name, they were sinful before, like Mrigari and Daku Ratnakar. They became like pure devotees.
That is also service to the Lord. Chanting is the best service to the Lord. Sometimes we say like that. So, yeah. So all the knowledge came from within. Okay. So Krishna will act as our guide, and Prabhupada says that then you cannot be in error, because Krishna gives guide. Krishna acts as a guide. Krishna gives the strength, everything from within. Okay. And sometimes he makes the devotee frustrated also, so that he will turn to Krishna completely. Nothing is working out, Krishna. I just need to take your shelter fully. That's all. So that is also happening in the life of Prabhupada. It happened like that. So, okay. Anything else on this verse? So Vishnu was about to leave, but he was detained because didn't want to leave the association of King Prithu. Okay. Like we say, Krishna does not take even a step outside of Vrindavan because he cannot be without his devotees. Of course, he disappeared like that, but he was there. The original king Maharaj Prthu, his eyes full of tears and his voice faltering and choked up, could neither see the Lord very distinctly nor speak to address the Lord in any way. So he was also very emotional, Maharaj Prthu, seeing the Lord. He simply embraced the Lord within his heart and remained standing in that way with folded hands. Just as Krishna is addressed in Brahma Samhita as Adi Purush, the original personality, so King Prithu, being an empowered incarnation of the Lord, is referred to in this verse as Adi Rajaha, the original or ideal king. He was a great devotee and at the same time a great hero who conquered over all undesirable elements in his kingdom. He was so powerful that he was equal in fighting to Indra, the king of heaven. He gave protection to his citizens, keeping them engaged in pious activities and devotion to the Lord. He did not collect a single cent of taxes from the citizens without being able to give them protection from all calamities. The greatest calamity in life is to become godless and therefore sinful. If the state of head or king allows the citizens to become sinful by indulging in illicit sex life, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling, then the king is responsible and he has to suffer the resultant sequence of reactions of the sinful lives of the citizens because he levies taxes on them unnecessarily. So if he doesn't care about spiritual advancement and just exact taxes from the citizens, then he gets the karma of the 1/6, something like that. These are the principles for ruling power, and because Maharaj Prthu observed all the principles for ruling chief, he is referred here to as Adi Rajaha. Even a responsible king like Maharaj Prthu can become a pure devotee of the first order. We can distinctly see from King Prithu's behavior how he became ecstatic both externally and internally in pure devotional service. Just today, we have seen in the newspaper of Bombay that the government is going to repeal its prohibition laws. Ever since Gandhi's non-cooperation movement, Bombay has been kept dry, means no wine, and has not allowed its citizens to drink. Sometimes they say Gujarat is a dry state, right? But now they are allowing. But unfortunately, the citizens are so clever that they have increased illicit distillation of liquor. And although not being sold publicly in shops, liquor is being sold in public lavatories and similar abnormal places. So they are forcibly telling people not to drink. So there is no wine shop legally. But people are drinking. So Prabhupada is saying, unable to check such illicit smuggling, the government has decided to manufacture the liquor at cheaper prices so that people can have their supply of intoxication directly from government instead of purchasing it in public lavatories. The government failed to change the hearts of the citizens. So by force you cannot uh, stop anything, but it is only by one's own voluntariness, right? One's voluntarily only we can stop. So a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. We say like that. So you forcibly do something, but in the heart it is not changed. So they will do some other way to find. Um, Krishna says that the embodied soul may be restricted from uh, sense objects, but the taste in the heart remains. So the change of heart only happens. It's very difficult to change the heart, but only when you get some superior taste, then you don't hanker for this. So he is saying that. The government failed to change the hearts of the citizens from indulging in sinful lives. So instead of losing the taxes they collect to inflate the treasury, they've decided to manufacture liquor to supply to the citizens who hanker after it. So they wanted money anyway, they are going to drink. So they opened licensed liquor shop. This kind of government cannot check the resultant actions of sinful life, namely war, pestilence, famine, earthquakes, and similar other disturbances. Nature's law is that as soon as there are discrepancies in regard to the law of God, which are described in Bhagavad Gita as dharma siglani, or disobedience to the laws of nature or God, at once there will be heavy punishment in the form of sudden outbreaks of war. We have recently experienced a war between India and Pakistan. Within 14 days, there have been immense losses of men and money, and there have been disturbances to the entire world. These are the reactions of sinful life. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant to make people pure and perfect. If we even become partially pure, as described in Bhagavatam, by development of Krishna consciousness, then lust and greed, the material disease of citizens, will be reduced. This can be made simply by broadcasting the pure message of Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna consciousness. Big commercial and industrial firms have contributed many thousands of rupees to defense funds that burns the money in the form of gunpowder. But unfortunately, if they are asked to contribute liberally to advance the Krishna consciousness movement, they are reluctant. Under the circumstances, the world will periodically suffer from such upsurges and outbreaks of war, which are the consequences of not being Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada's viewpoint is that without our heart being changed and without becoming Krishna conscious, people, we will indulge in so many sinful activities and so many things, and that's why we will have reactions for that, for those activities. But you can't stop all these things until you get a good experience in bhakti. Sometimes people say, what is wrong in that meat eating? What is wrong in this? What is wrong in that? So, so there is some conviction that is required, right? I mean, why this is wrong? First, we have to be convinced about it, why it is wrong. And then we can, once you are convinced about it is wrong, then the thing is you need to have strength, or not just strength by force, but strength and also experience of higher taste and everything like that. Then only you can stop. Like we say, discrimination means okay, you determined it is wrong, then you need determination. Determination is required when you don't have taste. When you have taste, then there is no determination required, right? For eating prasadam, you don't require determination. Oh, I have to eat prasadam. It's automatically. So determination means to say like you have taste, but you don't want to do it. Right? If you have diabetes and you see a gulab jamun, and you have taste for gulab jamun, right? So you like it, but then you have to tell your mind, no, 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 you can't eat. Mind, the tongue is saying, no, no, I have to eat, I want to eat, I want to eat. And then sometimes you may succumb also. You say, no, no, I will eat. So, because you got taste for it. So when we have taste for other things, to say no, it is very difficult. So that is the whole problem in the material existence. So Krishna consciousness, we are meant to get a good experience in Krishna consciousness. It's meant to give us that good experience. So how do we get that good experience? We can get it by, kirtan, by participating in kirtan and hearing the philosophy like that. And still it may not come that much taste. So then we keep doing it and we pray to Krishna, I want taste, like that. Um, so slowly and gradually, because in our pure state we have taste for serving God, but in our impure state we don't have taste. So that's the problem. So Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition on the mind. It is not like we are trying to artificially get taste in devotional service. It is the natural situation of the living entity. You will say like that. Now, what is natural? Sense gratification is natural, because and devotional service is not so natural. So, so that is our conditioning. It has reversed. Love of God has transformed into love of God has transformed into what?
Love is transformed into lust.
Just as Prabhupada says, milk in contact with a sour substance transforms into curd. So like that. So it is the process of reversing that. So okay. So next verse. Any comments anybody has? So the lives of great devotees are sustained by taste, and on intellectual conviction, also life can be sustained, but to only a certain degree, because the jiva wants some pleasure. Ultimately, the jiva is looking for pleasure. So intellectually, you can sustain, that is there. Some you can even but Krishna, yeah, he can protect also and like that. But the mercy of Krishna means you get higher taste and you get realization. That's the knowledge you can get. We can have knowledge, but knowledge turns into realization, and it becomes like taste when we have mercy of Krishna. Like we all of us are mostly realized that meat eating is bad, right? We don't even are we hankering that, oh, I didn't get to eat chicken or things like that. We're not even hankering for it. We may have previously eaten, but we are not even hankering now. That means we already got the realization. No, no, this is bad. This I cannot eat. And you got nice prasadam, so you don't even want to look at the all this rotten food, chicken and all this. You don't even want to look at it because you got nice prasadam. So it's like that. So like that for everything, we can have that kind of realization. Yamunacharya says, I'm getting newer and newer taste. So, but it takes time. It's not so easy because our conditioning is deep, and it's not. Everybody is in a different level of consciousness, and their past life is different, and everything is different. So it may take time. Like they say, you go into shower, but you can. How soon you will become clean will depend on how dirty you were before you entered the shower. That is one factor, and then how long you stay in the shower, or how consistently you are taking the shower. If I go in and come out, then I'll not be clean. But if I stay in the shower, so similarly, if you stay in the shower means if you stay consistently chanting Hare Krishna, doing things and endeavoring and trying and like that consistently, then slowly, gradually will become clean. Okay, so next verse.
Yeah, and also we see that King Prthu, he's embracing the Lord within his heart because nobody can embrace Vishnu. His worship is in awe and reverence, right? Well, Krishna, his friends can embrace him. Gopis can embrace him.
Hmm, correct. Yeah, Vishnu is in Vaikuntha. If you embrace Vishnu, then say, why are you embracing Vishnu? You are supposed to offer prayers to Vishnu. We never hear, but maybe somewhere else, somewhere in the Bhagavatam, Vishnu does embrace anybody. I don't know. But yeah, so
Yeah, but in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Gopakumara went to Vaikuntha, he wanted to embrace the Lord, but he hesitated seeing the others, and so his mood was that embracing, so he didn't fit in Vaikuntha.
yeah, okay. So next verse, Manish Kumar want to say anything? Okay, he's not there. Right? The Supreme Personality of Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. So his one hand was on Garuda's shoulder and his feet was touching the ground. Maharaj Prthu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord. But it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus the king offered the following prayers. So he could not see the Lord properly because he had tears in his eyes. So he tried to wipe the tears. But when he looked at the Lord, so you want to keep looking. Krishna is so beautiful, Vishnu is so beautiful that it's never satisfied. You say, now I had enough darshan. No, you want to keep looking. Gopis are saying also, we want to keep looking. We don't like these eyelids which blink. We just want to stare at Krishna unblinkingly. Just look at him. The significant point in this verse is that the Lord was standing above the ground, almost touching it. The residents of the upper planetary systems, beginning from Brahmalok, the planet where Lord Brahma lives, down to Swargalok, are so advanced in spiritual life that when they come to visit this or similar other lower planetary systems, they keep their weightlessness. So they are floating. Prabhupada is saying, when Indra comes, he doesn't touch the ground. He's like, this means that they can stand without touching the ground. Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of God, but because he lives in one of the planetary systems within this universe, he sometimes plays as if one of the demigods of the universe. I think that is what he lives in one of the planetary systems within this universe is Shvetadvip or somewhere. When he first appeared before Prithu Maharaj, he was not touching the ground of this earth. But when he was fully satisfied with the behavior and character of Prithu, he immediately acted as the Supreme Personality of God, Narayan from Vaikuntha. Out of affection for Prithu Maharaj, he touched the earth, but he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, as if to prevent himself from falling down, since the Lord is not accustomed to stand on earthly ground. These are all symptoms of his great affection for Prithu Maharaj. Perceiving his fortunate position, Prithu Maharaj could not fully look upon the Lord due to ecstasy, but still in a faltering voice he began to offer prayers. Okay, so Prithu Maharaj's prayers now to the Lord.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, even Prabhupada's footprints, one of the devotee was telling, no, it was not touching the ground.
Yeah, Malti Prabhu was saying that he was walking on the beach in Vishakhapatnam or somewhere, and then
And she couldn't
everybody
touch
had
the
footprints, but
footprints.
Prabhupada didn't have footprints, something like that. Yeah. Anyhow, so Prithurvacha Varan Vipotvad Varedishwaradbhutah Katham Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmananam Yena Rakhanam Api Shanti Dehinam Tanisha Kaivalya Pate Vrinenacha. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer benedictions. So these are all prayers now. Why therefore should any learned person ask you for benediction meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature? So you are Varada, right? Varadeshwar, Varada Ishwarat, the bestower. He is Varada. Da means to give and Varada. So, so why should anybody? You can give all benedictions, but why should any learned person ask for you for benediction, which are meant for others? Others will ask, those who are bewildered by the modes of nature, they will ask so many things from the Lord. But those who are learned, why should they ask? Such benedictions are available automatically. even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. Okay, so of course everybody wants some happiness for sense enjoyment, right? So they go to the Lord and ask, Krishna, make me this, Krishna, do this, Krishna, do that for me. But here Prithu Maharaj is showing the behavior of a pure devotee. So he is saying that I don't want all these benedictions. What people who are not learned, they are asking all these material benedictions. I don't want. But Bhagavatam says, yeah, if you are very, you have so much burning in your heart, you want intensely, you want something. Sometimes it happens. So then you can approach the Lord. Like Dhruva Maharaj, he approached the Lord. He had a burning desire in his heart just to take revenge. He could not get the desire out of his heart. So okay, then go to Krishna. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarati. There are different kinds of benedictions according to a person's demands. That's why there are so many shastra, right? Because everybody cannot accept the highest pure devotional service. So there is slowly elevation from karma kanda and all this. There are so many demands we have in karma kanda section of the Vedas. It is giving us ways how to fulfill those desires. I mean, do yagna, and Dashrath Maharaj also wanted very badly a son. So he did Putra Kamishti Yagna, and all these different kinds of yagnas are there. So we will have desires naturally because we are not dead stone. But there are pure desires and there are material desires. There are different kinds of benedictions according to a person's demands. For karmis, the best benediction is promotion to higher priority system, where the duration of life is very long and the standard of living and happiness is very high. So those who are interested in sense gratification, then for them they are called karmis and they want to go to higher priority systems because there it is much better, longer life, no disease, no old age, and higher standard of happiness. Just like on this earth, in some countries it's better standard of living. That's why people want to come there, go there. So there, and everybody has come like that. There are others, namely Jnanis and Yogis, who want the benediction of merging into the existence of the Lord. So this is called Kaivalya. Because they are tired of this material enjoyment. The Jnanis are a little bit higher than the Karmis. They are thinking that this is not, they have experienced that this is not giving satisfaction. So they said now we should just seek for liberation. And they seek for impersonal liberation. It's called, the Lord is therefore addressed as Kaivalya Pati, the master of the Lord of the benediction known as Kaivalya. But devotees receive a different type of benediction from the Lord. Devotees are anxious neither for the heavenly planets nor for merging into the existence of the Lord. Sometimes working is considered like labor, right? It is not very pleasing, working hard. So Gyanis just want to remain in a state like where state of peace, not do any work, nothing like that. Just be in peace, like sleeping state. So that is what is the Brahma Jyoti. So there is no active service, but it is just like peaceful state. So devotees are neither anxious for heavenly planets nor for merging, but others they like to serve the Lord, and the Lord is also reciprocating with them, and He is feeling happy and like that. So according to devotees, Kaivalya or merging into existence of the Lord is considered as good as hell. The word Naraka means hell. Similarly, everyone who exists in the material world is called Naraka, because this material existence itself is known as the hellish condition of life. This is hellish condition. Material existence is itself is known as hellish condition of life. Because so much struggle, and then we have to die, and then we have to get old, and all this whole life is like that. It is actually hellish life. Prithu Maharaj, however, expressed that he was interested neither in the benediction. So if we think this is hellish life, this material life is hellish, then we will want to get out of it. Right? If we don't think that this is hellish, then we are comfortable in this hellish kind of life. So Prithu Maharaj, however, expressed that he was interested neither in the benediction desired by the karmis nor that desired by the gyanis and yogis. But how can we say it's hellish? We have so much enjoyment here, right? So many things, we can enjoyable things to eat, and so Prabhupada is convincing us that these things will not satisfy you. Sri Prabhupada Saraswati, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, described that Kaivalya is no better than a hellish condition of life. And as for the delights of heavenly planets, they are factually the will or whips or phantasmagorias. They are not wanted by devotees. Kevalya narakayate te dashapur akasha pushpayate.
दुर्दान्ते इन्द्रिया काल सर्पः पतली प्रोत्काद्यमश्चायते विश्वं पूर्ण सुखायते विधि महेन्द्रादिशकटयते याद करोण्यकटाश्वे भवतं श्री गौरवस्तेवस्तुमः.
They are not wanted by devotees. Devotees do not care even for positions held by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, nor do they desire to become equal with Lord Vishnu. Now, this is when Prabhupada says devotees, he is talking about those pure devotees. There are mixed devotees, there are pure devotees. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Prithu Maharaj made his position very clear. So we can't pretend something which we are not. So wherever we are, we try to serve Krishna and aspire for higher things and like that, to serve Krishna unconditionally and uninterruptedly. That's the goal, but it is very difficult to come to that stage of becoming free from all material desires and to serve Krishna non-stop. So we start with just little bit, right? We start with like 15 minutes a day, 1 hour a day. We chant Hare Krishna. We go to temple on the weekend or like that, something. So we start with like baby steps. We have to take little steps, and then maybe when we will understand more and get more taste, then slowly, naturally, there'll be a progression. So then we'll say, yes, now I want to do a little bit more. Now I want to chant more. I want to do more service. I like to do more service and more, yeah, whatever. So we should not compare with others, right? Because others may have been very, exalted in their past life, and they're starting from a very high level. We should not feel discouraged that I cannot reach this standard. No, it's like slowly. Shanai, right? That word is used. Slowly and gradually, we make progress.
And also one has to be very disciplined, right? Like, so unless one is disciplined, and this is the only qualification that Narad Muni was. I mean, Narad Muni was so disciplined, right? He was a small boy, but still he would not talk anything nonsense. He was so disciplined. So the more we discipline, the more we become advanced. And of course, we, as stated in one nectar of instruction also, right? Utsah, dhairya, nischa, tat karm pravartanat. So one has to be very disciplined, and
But
then we can,
discipline also requires motivation, right? To become disciplined. It requires determination. It requires, yes. So one way also is to live in an environment where the discipline will naturally come about. So that's why people send their child to school. You can do like, but in school what happens? There is discipline, right? You have, okay, there is there's a curriculum, right? You have the periods, so you have chemistry, math, and you have all that. There is, so and everybody is like there in that. So you don't have much option, right? You have this, like in our school, we have the periods. We have 8 to 9 this, 9 to 10 this. So you have to sit there, and you like it, you don't like it. It's like, okay, and everybody else is sitting. But if you're self motivated, you can discipline yourself anywhere. But generally, it's difficult. So we have to situate ourselves in a situation where, this discipline is easily. So that's why living in a temple or something like that, like all these devotees, right? They're living and or live close to a temple and then live with people who are disciplined. Then we'll get more discipline. And we have to read the scripture also. That will give motivation to become disciplined. Because this talks, because we forget the goal of life and things like that. What is the purpose? Why I'm here? And then Prabhupada purport will read, and then we say, yeah, I need to chant. This is so like that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to like interrupt you, but please go ahead. So,
No, you already said it, Prabhu. I was also talking about the Shastra. And under the guidance of spiritual master, under the guidance of devotees, one can make the advancement. Yeah,
correct.
this is
Like
what you
now, the
already said.
spiritual master, like say your Diksha Guru, is not near you anywhere. You've taken, but he may give you instruction. But on a day-to-day basis, we need like constant motivation, right? Some instruction may be given, but if you're not self-motivated, then that instruction doesn't. So the thing is, we need to have, yeah, the regular association of devotees in our community where we are living and things like that, where the whole temple should be an inspiring environment so that everybody is like motivated. As soon as you come into that environment, you want to do some service or like that. So, and outside also, right? We go for book distributions or something like that. We fix up our. Some of you are doing service every day in the not every day, but Sundays you do on the temple. You have decided now this is the time I'll do service. So we do book distribution Sunday evening, something like that. And we go with others, and those who are also like discipline. Prabhupada says sometimes military discipline, right? So just do it. We don't have to think. Yeah, and then when we get taste, then we automatically feel like yes, I want to do it. So to be disciplined is difficult if you are not in good association, unless you are very self-motivated and like that. It can happen. So this is the verse I was thinking. Shanay Shanay Uparamid Buddhyadriti Grihitaya Atma Sanstham Mana Kritva Nakinchidapi Chintayet. Gradually, step by step, Krishna is saying, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. So, slowly, gradually, step by step. Okay, the last verse we'll read. What's the time? Okay, we can. न कामयनाथ तद अप्य अहम क्वचिन न यत्र युष्माच्चरणाम्बुजा सवः महत्तमांतर हृदयान्मुखच्युतो विदत्सवा कर्णायुतम एषमेवरः. My dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarine beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1,000,000 years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet from the mouths of your pure devotees. So he wants taste, or he has taste in hearing Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha is nice. So we have to develop taste. In the previous verse, Maharaj Prthu addressed the Lord as Kaivalyapati. Okay, we'll read this purport tomorrow. We'll just continue with somebody else. It's 7:48. So anybody like to say anything? share anything. Associate with devotee activities.
We can read the Dancing with Elephants.
Okay. Yeah. Which verse? Which
We are on page 18.
18? So you want to read or I should read?
I can start.
Okay.
When Singh brought in a big plate of bhoga and asked Prabhupada to make an offering, Prabhupada sang Bhaktivinoda's Bhoga Arti song Bhaja Bhakta Vatsala Shri Gaurahari. He rarely sang bhajans or led kirtan, and the rest of us were merged in an ocean of bliss. I had a clear perception that Krishna was in fact with Prabhupada as his divine grace offered his heart along with the food. Sitting on the floor with Prabhupada above him in a chair, Mr. Singh confided that there was something troubling him. An astrologer had told him that in a previous lifetime he had fought in the battle of Kurukshetra, but on the side against Krishna, and he was very worried about it. Prabhupada assured him that this was not possible. Everyone who was killed in the battle of Kurukshetra was liberated, he said. If you had actually been there, you would not still be in this material world. Singh couldn't quite grasp the point and wasn't sure whether to feel relieved or disappointed, but Prabhupada said, that's all right, don't worry. Now you are a devotee of Krishna. Everything is all right. And when Singh's son came in, Prabhupada opened his eyes wide and relating to the king's Kshatriya spirit said, oh, he looks just like Maharaj Parikshit. When it was time to honor the rich, spicy Punjabi feast, the rest of us were a bit hesitant, but as Prabhupada calmly began to eat, we relaxed and joined him. Our host was completely charmed. He said that when he had extended his invitation, he had been a little dubious about us. But after speaking to Srila Prabhupada for a few minutes, all of his doubts and suspicions had been removed. As we often as was often the case, I was amazed and impressed by how perfectly Prabhupada could understand people's mood and reciprocate with them perfectly. And when he asked Maharaj Singh to join our life membership program by which people would pay an amount and receive all of Srila Prabhupada's books, a subscription to Back to Godhead magazine, and the facility to stay for free in our centers, Singh agreed without hesitation, the first and only life member we made in Amritsar. One afternoon, Srila Prabhupada went to see the famous Har
You
Mandir.
can summarize a little bit for everybody because it's difficult to.
Mhm. Yeah. So this was a place where they are meeting this Kshatriya king in Punjab, and that had a lot of animals on the wall. I mean, their heads that he had killed because they were actually troubling people, attacking people. These are animals, tigers, lions, and wild beasts. So here, Prabhupada is here for preaching in his kind of a palace, and Prabhupada sang the Bhaj Bhakta Vatsala Shri Gaura Hari Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bhoga Arti song. And Prabhupada is offering his heart along with the food. Giriraj Maharaj is saying we could experience Krishna. And then this king, no, this Punjabi, who's that? Singh. He's saying he was very worried because some astrologer had told him that he was previously in his previous life was fighting against Krishna in Kurukshetra war, like on the side of the Kauravas. But Prabhupada said that's not possible because, as we all know, that whoever died on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained Sarupya Mukti. So he wouldn't be here if he was part of that war. But he didn't understand it first. He was doubtful. But then Prabhupada says, don't worry. Now that you are a devotee of Krishna, whatever sins that you have committed in the past, they're not counted because now you're a devotee. And his son, Prabhupada said, was just like Parikshit Maharaj. So Giriraj Maharaj is saying that Prabhupada has this quality of relating to everybody with their moods and reciprocate with them perfectly. So everybody, like Dhira, Dhira Jana, Priya, Priya Karo. Everybody, because Prabhupada loves everybody, he's seeing them as spirit soul and how he can connect them to Krishna. So automatically he receives love from everybody. So as soon as Prabhupada asked him to join the life membership, he immediately joined without hesitation. Anything you would like to add?
No. Yeah, he said, right, if you would have been in Kurukshetra war fighting against Krishna, you would have been liberated, right? Because everybody was liberated. That's,
Yeah, I mean, yes. So because everybody attained Sarupya Mukti.
okay.
You want to continue?
Quick question, Madhuri. Can I have this book on Amazon? Or-
There is no ebook version right now because it was just released. But we can mail you if you want the book.
Sure. Thank you, Madhuri.
Anyway, you're coming to Columbus, right, for Lal Govind Prabhu's Katha.
Not Lal Govind Prabhu's Katha Prabhu, but yeah, I have plans to come in June.
Okay. If you want sooner, yeah, we can mail you. Okay. We can read. We can finish these two paragraphs.
One afternoon, Srila Prabhupada went to see the famous Har Mandir Sahib, the Sikh Golden Temple, the main Gurudwara, place of worship for Sikhs worldwide. The temple was surrounded by a holy water tank, Amrit Sarovar, after which the city of Amritsar was named. There were not as many altars or as much decoration as in Hindu temples, Guru Das recalled. At the top was a room from which we could see in all directions a vista of 360 degrees. In this room, a man was reading from the original manuscript of Guru Granth Sahib, the sacred scripture that is divine revelation for the Sikhs. This reading is performed non-stop, just like the 24-hour kirtans performed in Vrindavan. Our guide explained that there were 4 entrances to the temple, indicating that it was open to any class of person and that the temple was maintained entirely by donations, mostly from Sikh businessmen. They took pride that no one in Amritsar need go hungry and fed a sanctified meal of dal and chapatis to 10,000 people daily, all done by volunteers. Prabhupada observed their massive operation, watching one group of men rolling chapatis, flipping them through the air into a giant tawa griddle, while another group turned the chapatis with long paddles, held them briefly over the hot coals, and placed them in neat stacks. This is how to distribute prasad, he said, spiritual communism. When we were about to leave, Prabhupada had us all gather around as he signed the guest book A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Under religion, he wrote Krishnite, and under comments, he wrote very spiritual. So he visited this golden temple and he saw that how they read the Guru Granth Sahib 24 hours a day, just like how we have 24 hours kirtan. And he was also seeing how they are making mass prasad for distribution to 10,000 people or so. And so we can learn from other organizations as we visited, the Philadelphia temple, how they are doing it. So we can also learn and do it for our temples. We should, like we say that if there are any good qualities in others, we can learn from anyone. So and so many volunteers, how the temple is running just on donations and there's volunteers. Anything you would like to add?
No, I think he was very impressed with the prasadam distribution. They call it langar, right? Langar.
Yeah, in all the Sikh temples it's like this: free langar prasad, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Very amazing.
Yeah, I guess the Sikhs have a lot of businessmen, so donations they get.
They believe in seva. Like I was in Chandigarh, I remember that. The Gurudwara, they sometimes I also went there. They do these things. They have special kind of khichdi.
Correct. Yeah.
So they believe in seva and manav seva. One person who is reading, um, he was saying that.
Komal want to say something? I don't know if Komal
No, I was thinking that, like Mataji was saying, they have a very strong sense of service from the child to the older, and whoever comes to eat, you may even just come just to eat. They will never look at you. Nobody will ever question who you are, what are you eating, how much you are eating. They serve you with their hand, and they keep serving you repeatedly until you are done. So you'll always come eating twice more than you intended to eat in a Gurudwara, which is an incredible service and so on.
in our Vrindavan temple also, there is so much prasadam. Every day there is free prasadam for breakfast, lunch. In Mayapur also, so much. Maybe in our temple also we should have that, if it is possible. I don't know. Columbus. Okay. Okay, so we can chant a little bit. I have to chant some japa. So some time. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. We'll chant a little bit.